Oh, I see. Perhaps we should find Valessa first. It must have been bad if you're acting like this. But hold on. Just remember the basics. Visions are never foolproof. They're always full of errors. It's like looking at a painting. It's up to interpretation. Everyone who looks at it would walk away with something different. Not that I have visions, I'm just trying to help. Valessa will make sense of everything you saw. I know it. Sometimes visions make mountains out of mud piles. Whoa, really? Scare me half to death, why don't you? Let's put everything on hold then get Valessa. We're supposed to meet her in the town square. But if this is as bad as you say, you better tell me too. Not as a scribe in training, but as a friend. Got it? Alright, I know how it is, and I understand. I know you wouldn't purposely put me in any danger, so whatever you end up doing, it's for the best, right? Anyway, we should head to the town square. With this vision business, we'll have a busy day. Don't waste too much time, alright?
On Scribes and Visions. The Scribe of Valinor is a very important position, and one not to be taken lightly. Tasked with hearing and interpreting the visions of the seer or seeress, they bear a large mental burden. The spirits have their own language, and many visions are cryptic in nature. Though visions have become more clear over time, they started out as a mess of metaphors and confusion. It's almost as if, over many years, the realm of spirits has found ways to communicate more efficiently. This is interesting for many reasons. We must wonder if the realm of spirits is a physical entity, capable of growing and learning. There is no real explanation for this growing level of clarity in communication. It is widely believed that the realm of spirits hosts the souls of those who have left our world, but nobody has ever actually communicated with the dead or seen a long-lost loved one. Instead, these spirits grant visions of the future to those capable of witnessing them. Almost like a warning, they've helped keep Valinor safe, and Alestia by extension. Either way, because the visions have become more straightforward, the scribe is more of a ceremonial position. Rather than carrying any real weight, it is just an attempt to continue Valinor's tradition. Recently, Valinor has given the scribe their own protege, someone to take over if the worst should happen. For this reason, I study valiantly under Valessa. The true reach of spirits. It is a widely held belief that plant life is a container for spiritual energy. Because this energy is so pure, residents of forested areas tend to lead a happier and more fulfilling life. While many are frightened at the ability for the spirits to influence our mood, they have yet to do so in a negative fashion. To this end, many people actively seek out homes in areas surrounded by nature and this positive energy. Whether negative or positive, being influenced with unknown intent is concerning to many people. It seems to be tolerated simply because the power helps in a beneficial way. What if the realm of spirits were to lash out and make us aggressive or worse? What if they are conditioning our minds to slowly bend to their will? At that point, they could make us do any manner of bidding. This is the thought that also keeps many away from such areas of Alestia. But as there are numerous large cities, finding a home that suits your belief is far from impossible. Many ask the Triumvirate to speak on this, but they remain ever silent on the matter. Is it possible that not even our rulers know the true nature of the spirits and their reach? August Veyer. On Alestia's creation. There are many theories on when Alestia came into existence. None have any foolproof evidence and are merely based on personal belief and the conviction of the individual. The most popular, however, is the belief that the Triumvirate created our world. This theory is strengthened by the fact that no history or records of history exist prior to their rule. Therefore, the passage of time on our world is measured by how many years have passed since the first recording of known history, the Triumvirate's arrival. But, as the lack of evidence cannot be considered evidence itself, this is a topic of hot debate. The answer does not seem to be within our reach, and many scholars who dedicated their lives to this knowledge have since given up and moved on. As everyone on Alestia lives in a relative peace, these pursuits are considered a waste of time. If the Triumvirate truly did create our world, then we must thank them, for they are very generous and righteous gods. Perhaps one day, though, we will know the truth. August Veyer.
A bit bigger than my house, but mine has more rooms. Which is better, though? More rooms or more space? My interior design books don't really cover that aspect. The master has spoken. I guess it's true, though. Work with what you have. And if you don't have it, someone else surely will. A bit bigger than my house, but mine has more rooms. Which is better, though? More rooms or more space? My interior design books don't really cover that aspect. Oh? So it's privacy you want? There's plenty of that back at my place, whenever you need it. I'm just down the street. A bit bigger than my... So, you think more space is better? I guess you'll just have to invite me over more often. And if you ever change your mind, you're welcome at my place. Aw, are you thinking about me? I saw the way you looked at me just now. Give it to me straight. What's going on? I'll take that as a compliment, actually. The louder you are, the more fun you're having. You'll have to come and join me sometime. Aw, are you thinking about me? I saw the way you looked at me just now. Give it to me straight. What's going on? I guess you could say that, yeah. Being a scribe in training is pretty hard work. It's fun to unwind after everything is said and done.
Visions and paintings. A vision from the spirits is apparently more like a painting. When a vision is over, a seer or seeress can often vividly recall the bigger picture, while smaller elements are lost in translation. For example, if the vision was about the death of a villager, that part would be clear. However, how they died and what reaction each individual villager had to their death would be unclear. Instead of knowing this information, it is more like a gut feeling or a single interpretation of the events. In some cases, it is as if the spirits send us a single picture of an event, and the seer or seeress goes on to act it out in a dream in whatever way they can make sense of it. If at any time there was more than one seer or seeress, it is likely that their interpretations of each vision would be vastly different. But as there is only one seer or seeress at a time, we will never be able to put this to the test. Instead, the scribe discusses each vision in depth with the seer or seeress, and they come to an agreeable interpretation. Oftentimes, the smaller elements are disregarded, and only the bigger picture is given any credence. Using the death as an example, we would only assume a death is coming to Valenorth. Digging into why it was going to happen would be impossible. Although, as the spirit's ability to reach out to us and communicate slowly increases over time, we have to wonder if soon these visions will be concrete, and interpretations would become a thing of the past. Fortem.
Isn't that cool to think about, Seer? The spirits are artists, and your mind is the canvas. There's so much work required in interpreting visions. Of course, the spirits grow stronger every day. It's already gotten to a point where a scribe is near useless. I have more volumes written on the subject. I'm sure you'll find them. Can you believe how much stronger they've gotten, though? I wrote this book years ago and it's almost outdated. We've been able to witness so much growth in one generation.
Visions.
Aw, are you thinking about me? I saw the way you looked at me just now. Give it to me. I'll take that as a... There's a village-wide notice posted about your induction. I think you'll have quite the audience later tonight, Seer. There's a big party planned afterwards, too. Dancing and all. Sounds like you just don't know how to dance. I've been practicing my whole life. I'll have to teach you. I'm actually performing the ceremonial dance tonight. Each time a new seer or seeress is inducted, there's a ritual. A dance that's supposed to bless our people and your skill. It's very slow and intricate. I hope to do my best. There's a village-wide notice posted about your induction. I think you'll have quite the audience later tonight, Seer. There's a big party planned afterwards, too. Dancing and all. You bet! It's supposed to be the party of a lifetime. Quite literally, as there's only one Seer or Seeress per generation. If I were you, I wouldn't make any important plans tomorrow. There's a village-wide notice Whoa, you really have to think that one through. This is the most important day of your life. Are you sure you want to do that with me? If you're certain, then I'd love to. Maybe I'll even give you a refresher course. I'm assuming you don't get to do much dancing. A bit bigger than... Oh? So it's private.
Hey, nice to see you again. I was starting to worry you might be late. Thankfully, we still have time to spare.
Oh my, is this a hint of romance I see? And in public too? People will start to talk.
Shut it, Fortum! Nobody asked you. I was just excited to see the Seer. Remember how special today is?
Whoa, I was just joking around. If you're serious, then I'm kinda jealous. But I guess there's more important matters at hand. Sorry for getting sidetracked. I'm all over the place. Do your thing. I'll be waiting over there by the tank.
Ugh. I swear, Fortum can be so insufferable. Be glad you don't work with him as much as I do. He keeps things interesting, to say the least. Of course we can. We're best friends. I was just poking fun. Aren't we supposed to do that? Jeez, something about this doesn't add up at all. Fortum would never willingly walk away from us. He'd only do that if he's not allowed to listen in. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you had a vision, didn't you? Oh, really? I knew something was off. You seemed different. I didn't want to bring it up, but now I know why. Should we go to the Grand Tree then? It might be good to discuss this in private. If I tell the villagers, they won't bother us. Whoa, you're starting to creep me out, Seer. Involving the Elder? That's very serious. But I trust your judgment. I really do. Let's grab Fortum and head to Miles's place. If it's actually that bad, you should be there with us. Just promise me one thing. Do your best to keep calm. Some of the villagers are already looking your way. If they see you freaking out, they'll freak out too. Ugh, that's disgusting. Those things could be so dirty, you know? I like to wait until there's no one around.
Sorry, I think I dropped that when I was waiting. It's something I picked up from Milas' house a few days ago. You're free to take it. I have no use for it anymore.
Mysterious Mazeo. When the Triumvirate occupied Mazeo almost 20 years ago, many people wondered if they did so with an ulterior motive. On the surface, it looked like they wished to rid the region of piracy and those who would break the law. While it worked, many believed that the Triumvirate was slowly becoming tyrannical. There is one very peculiar thing, however. Their general, or mayor, is almost never seen, and the same goes for the honor guard they've placed in Mazeo. Hundreds of soldiers, almost never walking in the light of day. Instead, I've had several reports tell me that they dig in the night, deep underground, as if they're searching for something of importance. Could this be what they wanted Mazeo for? I've branched out of Valenorth and started corresponding with some people of note in Mazeo. It seems that even if it had a positive impact, many are against the idea of a forceful occupation. One city, and then the world. I suspect that the people in opposition will soon form their own army. It seems like they want to take Mazeo away from the Triumvirate and place it back in the hands of the people. A noble cause, I say. Valenorth must never meet Mazeo's fate. The Elder of Valenorth.
Try not to waste too much time here, Seer. I'm dressed in layers, and this humidity is gross. Wouldn't want to ruin my outfit before your ceremony. Ugh, Your shoes are so messy. And just before your big ceremony. Back away and watch your step. Hey, I guess you didn't get to do your water run. You should do it as soon as you get a chance. I finished mine up just before you got here.
A bit bigger than my house, but mine has more rooms. The master.
Hey. It's an experience, to say the least. His attention span isn't the best, you know. He'll zone out in the middle of our studies. And he always finds a way to make things humorous. It can be somewhat frustrating when I'm trying to teach him, but maybe that's just me, and I need to loosen up a little. I guess so. We could hate each other's guts. That would make protecting Valinor quite hard. Considering that, I think things are pretty good. I guess I'll just work on my tolerance for his antics. I kinda thought you'd agree, and now I feel weird. But if this is just a Valessa problem, I'll fix it. As always, you have a way of putting things in perspective. Sorry if it sounded like I was bashing his personality. It was more like an observation, that's all. It's an experience, to say the least. His attention span isn't the best, you know. He'll zone out in the middle of our studies. And he always finds a way to make things humorous. It can be somewhat frustrating when I'm trying to teach him, but maybe that's just me, and I need to loosen up a little. Yeah, I guess you're right. But we're in positions that are very sacred. If we don't take this seriously, we'll end up failing. Maybe I'm just picking up Fortum's slack. I feel like the villagers hold us to a certain standard. If it were just him, he'd fall way short of those standards. I must sound like an awful person right now. I just feel like we all need to act professionally. It's an experience, to say the least. His attention span isn't the best, you know. He'll zone out in the middle of our studies. And he always finds a way to make things humorous. It can be somewhat frustrating when I'm trying to teach him, but maybe that's just me, and I need to loosen up a little. I knew I wasn't the only one who thought so. Compared to him, I can seem a little boring, but that's not true. He's just over the top. I've always been pretty mature for my age. Perhaps I gained some of his maturity instead. At least he gets along well with the children. Yeah, definitely. I've been preparing for weeks. It's not too complicated, at least for me. It might be a little harder for you. But basically, just recite after Milas. After that, it's one big celebration. My role is minimal. This is your special day. As long as you can handle the spotlight, you're good. You won't have to memorize anything, or make a huge speech. You pledge yourself to Valinor and its protection. Until the end of your days, you'll serve our village. In return, you pretty much get to live a life of luxury. The benefits are amazing, and a long time coming. I hear you'll get a house near Milas and loyal servants. You have to be stress-free. Mental strain affects visions. It might be, but that doesn't mean it's not awesome. You're the most important person in Valinor, remember? You should be treated with as much respect as possible. I'm sure you can turn that stuff down, but it'd be the first time in history that anyone did. I think you need to take it, and get rid of your stress. You pledge yourself to Valinor and its protection. Until the end of your days, you'll serve our village. In return, you pretty much get to live a life of luxury. The benefits are amazing, and a long time coming. I hear you'll get a house near Milas and loyal servants. You have to be stress-free. Mental strain affects visions. Yeah, I'm actually kind of jealous, but we'll be spending a lot of time together. So I guess I get access to that stuff by association. You pledge the benefits are amazing, and a long time coming. I hear you'll get a house near Milas and loyal servants. You have to be... Isn't it a little late to be getting cold feet? We've already been performing these duties forever. The ceremony won't change much. It's just tradition. Try not to worry about it too much, alright? Everything will be the same tomorrow. Same old you, same old Valinor. Apparently, Milas' father was caught up in other things. It must have been important to shun something like this. I wonder if it's related to his disappearance. Anyway, that's why it hasn't happened until now. It's supposed to happen when you're much younger, but I don't see any reason why it can't happen now. As soon as the sun starts to set, so likely we still have a few hours. Plenty of time to meet with Milas. This only happens once a generation, so I'm not sure. But I've heard that it goes until the sun starts to rise. That's a bit too much for me. We'll see how long I can last. From what I've seen, you're pretty stressed today. I think the ceremony and the party will help you unwind. After it's done, we can take care of whatever we need to. Yeah, of course I do. It's so peaceful and everyone is so nice. I don't think Valinor has any real downsides. We're not plagued with piracy like Mazeo. Our hierarchy works, and we're always stable. If I ever got the chance to leave, I doubt I would. That's partly why I've never left the village. I know that Peregrino is out there in Salberg, but I've only heard stories. I've never actually been. It's a watering hole, like a bar. It's popular for people on their way to Valinor. That's why it's called the Pilgrim's Tavern. It's a good business idea, in my opinion. The road to and from Valinor is long and arduous. I bet everybody wants to stop and grab a drink. At least, that's what I've heard. We don't get too many outsiders, but it's still in business. It makes me wonder if there's something more to that place. Apparently, each nation has a spirit idol. It's where the spirit realm reaches out into the physical world. Salberg is home to ours, but it's been closed off for a while. It happened around the time we were born, actually. So I've never actually seen one in person. Just in drawings that Fortim and I can find. You know how nature is supposed to hold spiritual energy? Well, that energy has to come from somewhere, right? The idol is actually what delivers it to the land. But one idol can't cover all of Alestia. So, like I said, each nation is supposed to have their own. They're like national treasures, to be heavily guarded. I'm not holding my breath, to be honest. We're rather self-sustaining here in Valinor. As long as we have seers and scribes, we'll be good. Everything pertaining to our livelihood can be foreseen. So far, we haven't had to forge any alliances or treaties. And remember, it's been this way for thousands of years. Not that I'm against alliances or anything like that, but we have no purpose to leave, so I probably won't. I need to stay where my role is deemed most important.
Hey. Well, it's a huge mess, for one. You should see mine. It's flawless. I'm actually tempted to start cleaning. But I know I shouldn't do that without permission. Last time I did that, I got into a whole mess of trouble. A story for another time, I guess. Or whenever you ask. I'm pretty sure that's an understatement. I just can't stand when something is out of place. It drives me insane. Makes me freak out. Don't be offended if you see me messing around. Everything has an order. A perfect place it should be. I just like putting things where they belong. Oh, thank goodness. I was so scared you'd get mad at me. Give me a few minutes. I won't take long. Wait, why is there a sack of grain on the floor? And your cooking area is an absolute mess. This is going to take longer than I thought. Is that a serious offer? Because, you know, I'm very interested, even if Milas says that's against the rules. But I'll wait until you make a formal offer. Sometimes I act on impulse and make a fool of myself. There was big trouble last time I cleaned without permission. I saw a house so dirty I couldn't resist. It turned out to be Milas' spare study home. Everything was messed up, but with purpose. He said it took him months to recover. I messed with his stuff and threw his studies off. I'll never forgive myself for doing that. He said it was unbecoming of me. I had to look up the word, but I guess it's true. As a scribe in training, I need to show some class. It's pretty great, actually. Everything is given to me by Valenorth. Money, food, a house, you name it. I work with Valessa more than you, though. I'm kind of disappointed about that. We tend to roleplay real scenarios. She'll take on your role, and I'll take on hers. Playing a scribe for a scribe. Best possible training. Unfortunately, I doubt I'll ever be a real one. I don't think there's any protocol for that. But I assume Milas has the final word there. Or whoever the elder is at any given time. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow. But I hope you're not trying to say Valessa is bad. Is there something I'm not seeing here? Oh, I guess I jumped to conclusions again. I really need to stop doing stuff like that. I hope I was able to help your curiosity, though. We have to obey the rules set in stone by Valenorth. I'm just happy that we all get along with each other. This trio could have been a lot worse if you ask me. I don't think there's any protocol for that. But I assume Milas has the final word there. Or whoever the elder is at any given time. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow. But I hope you're not trying to say Valessa is bad. Is there something I'm not seeing here? Whoa, do you have a thing for her? I guess it's natural. You work together a lot. Never would have expected it, that's all. Wait, don't answer that question. I can't have any gossip on the brain. Whatever you feel, keep it private. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Whoa, are you serious? I got the feeling that I kind of annoyed you. Sorry, I don't know how to respond to that. But I really don't think I can be your scribe. I can only take over if something happens to Valessa. And trust me, I really don't want that to happen. We'll have to find other ways to work together. Or we could even hang out in our off time. There's no rule against doing that. Well, I really love climbing trees. Aside from that, I love reading and cleaning. It's a simple life here. But I have no problem with it. I have a lot of time off. Way more than Valessa. Honestly, I think I only do half of what she does. Just means I need to keep myself occupied. If you see me with cuts and bruises, don't freak out. I'm pushing myself to the limits, climbing bigger trees. Before you know it, I'll be on top of the Grand Tree. Wait, seriously? That sounds awesome! I'll have to choose something easy then. I don't want to throw you right into it. Valenorth needs you, and I won't screw that up. But it might be fun having an apprentice to teach. Well, I really love climbing trees. Aside from that, I love reading and cleaning. It's a simple life here. But I have no problem with it. I have a lot of time off. Way more than Valessa. Honestly, I think I only do half of what she does. Just means I need to keep myself occupied. If you see me with cuts and bruises, don't freak out. I'm pushing myself to the limits, climbing bigger trees. Before you know it, I'll be on top of the Grand Tree. Nope, just the perfect amount. If you aren't pushing yourself, you aren't winning. There's an exact formula to it, and I'm playing it safe. About 5 years less than Valessa. After the Triumvirate took over Mazeo, we were scared. So I think it was a worst-case scenario type of... Some people say that Mila's father trained him too. That's why he was able to take over so easily. That means he's like me, but for the position of Elder. You must be messing with me. Is this a test? I'd rather not talk about that, if it's all the same. At least approach the subject a little more casually. Some people say that Mila's father trained him too. Same. That would be awful. We're definitely like a small family here. I couldn't live without either of you. I feel weird, existing as a failsafe. But I'm free to do much more in my spare time. I love this position, and I'm glad to know both of you. I don't think I'm really allowed to do that. The training I go through is already mentally exhausting. I need to devote my spare time to blowing off steam. Of course, this is under Milas' orders. I'm sure I could handle something if I really wanted, but getting in trouble with him really isn't worth it. To be honest, I just like helping people. So probably cleaning up here and there, keeping tidy. I consider a day successful if I've made someone else smile. Maybe I could be a problem solver or something. People always need some help, so I'd never go bored. It would always involve something new and exciting. Of course, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Milas says I'm not allowed to do any extra work. Training has to be my most important focus. That sounds awesome. It really does. But I'd never hear the end of it from Milas. If I overload my brain with work, I'll slip up. He says I always need to be at the ready. Unfortunately, that leads to a lot of waiting around. Who would have thought too much spare time is an issue? That's why I do things I can always cut short. Climbing a tree? Just hop down and try again later. Cleaning? Just stop. The mess isn't going anywhere. I could think of much worse things to do. Considering that, it's not too bad on my end. My life is simple, and there's some beauty in that. You and Valessa always seem so busy. I'd rather stay in my situation than be overworked. I'm sure you cope with it, but I doubt I could. I hope I never have to step up either. That would mean something terrible happened to Valessa. I don't even want to think about that. Let's move on. Oh no, I could never do that to you. You need me, and all of Valenorth needs me. I'm not as important, but I'm still important. We're almost as important as the Elder, actually. He even looks to us for guidance sometimes. I love the job. It just has some downsides. I wouldn't mind leaving Valenorth one day, but that's probably just because I'm not allowed to. You know what they say about wanting what you can't have. Yeah, it's great here. Sometimes I wish I could leave, but it's dangerous out there. Mazeo is the closest city, and we all know what happened there. Balteus would be way too cold for me, and Dalarinthia would be way too warm. I think we have it perfect right here. Well, it's really far up north. The Triumvirate is stationed there. I've heard their castle is amazing. But I don't think too many people live there. From what I've read, it's full of their most loyal subjects. So they're honor guard, and prospective generals. I've heard they have a grand library, though. In Valinor, my reading material is really limited. I'd say a library like that makes up for the cold. The tribal lands, to the far east. I know very little about Alarinthia, except that it's hot. You have to be really strong to live in a place like that. And that's who lives there mostly. They take strength very seriously, and hold tournaments. Fighting is a big deal. It determines who holds the throne. But there's barely any books on it here. I'm really only educated on Valinor and Mazeo. Maybe someone else could teach you about Alarinthia. It's the trade hub of Alestia, full of docks and ships. I really hate talking about this, so I'll make it quick. It's been over 20 years since the Triumvirate occupied it. They put a trade ban in effect as soon as they did. It doesn't affect me too much, except for a type of apple. My parents used to treat me with them when I was younger. Hopefully one day they remove the stupid ban. They say it keeps order on things, but I'm not sure. More laws just means more rules to break, right? Anyway, yeah, Mazeo is a really interesting place. Everyone said the force they used to occupy it was justified. Eliminating piracy and bringing the law to Mazeo was necessary. That would be cool, but I highly doubt it. We have strict orders to remain in Valinor at all times, and Milas isn't the type of guy to let anyone break the rules. It's been this way for thousands of years. I don't think we'll get any special treatment. I mean, we can dream, but it won't really go anywhere. Oh yeah? That would be... It's been this way for thousands... Oh yeah? What makes you think that? Actually, don't tell me. I don't want to get my hopes up. It took me long enough to come to terms with it the first time. That would be cool. It's been this way for thousands of... It's called being a realist. I've come to terms with the life we have in Valinor. It took a while, but I'm sure you'll learn to do the same.
Hey, Milas. We need to have a word. Milas, snap out of it. We need to talk about something important.
You know what they say about death, right? When we die, we go on to live in the realm of spirits. With that logic, spiritual energy should be infinite.
I'm not really sure how to respond to that. I mean, we've had seers and scribes for thousands of years. I'm pretty sure we'll have them for thousands more to come.
Wouldn't that be beautiful? Sorry for rambling, but we should all have a seat. I'm afraid things aren't going to go as planned.
I think we were going to say the same thing to you. I mean, the seer had a vision last night. A big one. Hopefully, we have enough time to get through all of this.
Well, unfortunately, I'm past the point of subtlety. So, in the interest of time, I'll get right to it. The induction ceremony is henceforth cancelled.
What? You can't be serious! You hype us all up and take it away? There better be an explanation for this.
What's going on here, Miles?
I'm afraid that's a very complicated answer. Let's back things up a few moments. Seer, tell us about the vision you had. Just as I expected. It was only a matter of time before you saw it. That is, if the spirits truly cared about our protection.
Wait, slow down a minute. How do we know nothing was lost in translation? Remember how abstract visions are known to be?
I can confirm that an attack is imminent. Besides, Valessa, you know visions aren't like that. The spirits have gotten strong enough. That's no longer an issue.
But this can't be true.
It is. And unfortunately, it's just the start. But there are still some important matters at hand. Before I send you off, I'll tell you everything. I didn't want to tell you until you needed to know. I'm just lucky that this vision waited until I was ready. The Triumvirate wants to occupy Valenorth, as they did Mazeo. I know what you three lost in Mazeo, and I'm sorry, but what they plan to bring to Valenorth is far, far worse. Punishment for my father's involvement with the rebellion.
We're supposed to be nonpartisan.
Yeah, that's our whole deal. Why would your father do that to us?
I'll never forgive you, Miles. Your father is responsible for all of this? He betrayed Valenorth the moment he helped them.
Understandable, but this is not my fault. Surely you know about my father's disappearance. But have you heard the stories of the recent rebel victory?
Rebel victory?
The blade that the seer mentioned. It was taken from the Triumvirate. Without it, they are weak and vulnerable. But it was not an easy feat to accomplish. In their pursuit of the blade, many people died, including the leader of the rebellion itself. The new leader, Damek, sent it here for safekeeping. I hid it in the Grand Tree where no one would find it. I want you to take it and seek out Damek in Mazeo.
Hey, slow down. This makes sense to you, but it's all a blur to us. Your father was one of the men that died to get this blade?
Indeed he was, Fortem. The rebel leader's death, my father's disappearance, I'm afraid those are intricately connected.
You mean?
Yes, I do. My father didn't work with the rebellion. He created it. The first allegiance in Valenorth's entire history.
Whoa.
He formed an allegiance with insurgents in Mazeo. Together, they grew and created a large army, large enough to steal the Triumvirate's sacred blade.
I don't understand why he'd do that. We're fine on our own. We always have been.
Times are changing and leaving us behind. I'm afraid that Valenorth is a dying culture, Valessa. What I am about to tell you must not leave this room.
What is it?
You know of Salberg, right? How it houses the spirit idol of Valenorth.
Yes, of course. But it's been blocked off for a long time. I've never gone to see a spirit idol in person.
I'm afraid it might remain that way. Seer, on the eve of your birth, it went dark. Valenorth is living unlimited spiritual energy.
There's no way I believe that, Milas. Our connection with the spirits is eternal.
I wish that were the case, Fortem. It pains me to say this, but it's true. You are the last seer we shall ever have. Normally, the spirit idol chooses a child. That child is imparted with a surge of spiritual energy. When they pass away, it does the same to the next generation. But you, seer, it gave everything to you. Like the spirit realm is making one final push. I don't know why, but I have my theories.
It sounds like the spirits have given up on us. Perhaps we took their gift for granted and abused them. Without that idol and their energy, what will happen to us?
I expect that Valenorth will become like any other nation. We'll take history into our own hands, rather than act on guidance. It's not a bad thing, and I don't think the spirits gave up on us. In fact, I think it's the opposite. They're placing all of their hope on us. The seer and that blade can save us all.
Back to that blade again? What does that have to do with all of this?
It's not an ordinary blade, as you've been told. In order to harness it, you need remarkable strength. Or, in other words, a vast amount of spiritual energy. Seer, I think the spirits chose you to wield this blade. To take it, join the rebels in Mazeo, and defeat the Triumvirate. I know this is asking a lot of you, but we always follow their lead. Valenorth may be attacked, but we can rebuild from the ashes. Our true goal here should be the destruction of the Triumvirate. History should be in our hands, not in the hands of unjust gods.
So that's why your father formed this alliance? To take control of our history in the spirit's absence? And to make sure the Triumvirate doesn't dictate our future?
He wanted to strengthen our bonds with outsiders as well. Without visions, we have to take things as they come. Foresight helped us out, but we won't always have it. What we do have, however, is the potential of the seer. I think that's why he sacrificed himself to get this blade. He knew that you'd be able to wield it and achieve liberation. Please, take the blade and flee to Mazeo. When the ceremony is supposed to start, I'll tell the people. They're all rounding up, so it'll be easy to evacuate. We might be a bit behind, but we'll meet in Mazeo. There's lots to plan, and little time to plan it. We'll need new homes and blades for any volunteers. As far as I can tell, this is not up for debate. If you think it is, then consider it in order from your elder. Leave as soon as you are able, and we'll meet again soon.
Listen, I'm gonna try and be the voice of reason here. Milas said a lot of stuff, and it could be true or false. But if an attack is coming, we should go either way. Especially if there's a weapon we can use. I think we should grab it from the Grand Tree first. Again, not siding with anyone here, just using logic.
Yeah, you're right. We do the same thing, even if Miles didn't tell us to. Find something to defend ourselves with, and leave Valenorth. But he said the spirits gave you all their power? And they cut their influence from Valenorth for good? This changes Alestia's entire history. not just our actions. I can't say I fully understand, but it makes sense. Miles' father foresaw all this and took action. I feel hatred, but at the same time, I feel hope.
Let's take this one step at a time, Valessa. We'll grab the weapon and make our way out of here. The rest can fall into place as we move on.
So, to the Grand Tree then? I'll try to maintain one modicum of sanity. It's not like our lives were just turned around.
I'm sure we'll manage as long as we're together. I'm not giving up on any of you. I promise. There's nothing we can't do if we all pitch in. Let's go to the Grand Tree and get that blade.